announcement? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get the program started quickly. If you could please take your seats now, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us at the annual State of Education Address. I am Beth Smith, President of the Washoe County School Board. Please rise for the presentation of our nation's colors and the singing of the national anthem and Canticum Novum, Sing a New Song, by the Marce Herz Falcons Advanced Choir. Please remove your hats and remain standing until the color guard has left the floor. The colors are presented tonight by the members of the Washoe County School District JROTC Superintendent's Elite Color Guard. The color guard includes student cadets from each of the 11 comprehensive high schools within the Washoe County School District. Tonight's color guard is commanded by Command Master Chief Cindy Martinez Barrera. We thank them for their participation this evening. Color guard, halt! Right! We also look to the past and to the people whose lives, work, and sacrifice have brought us to this place. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who have contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. We acknowledge that some of our educational structures are situated on the traditional homelands of the Nukma, Northern Paiute, Washoe, Washoe, Nukwa, Western Shoshone, and Nukwu, Southern Paiute peoples. These lands continue to be a gathering place for Indigenous peoples, and we will recognize their deep connections to these places. We pay respect to their elders, past and present, and extend our appreciation for the opportunity to live and learn on their territory. As we begin our program tonight, I would like to thank our very talented students, starting with the Marce Herz Falcons Advanced Choir, who just sang so beautifully for us. Also, our culinary students from AACT, who provided the delicious refreshments tonight, and we thank them. The treats were sponsored by the United Federal Credit Union, and we are so thankful for your support of our students in district. To the student musicians of the Billinghurst Middle School Orchestra, who provided music while everyone toured the classrooms, thank you all for your contributions to tonight's event. We are also joined tonight by an incredible group of public servants, dignitaries, and officials. As I say your name, please rise and give a wave so that you can be recognized. Starting with my colleagues on the Washoe County School Board, Vice President Dr. Diane Nicolette. Susan Enfield as our new Superintendent of Schools, and she quickly got to work to meet with us, learn more about our district and our community, and spend time in our schools. She asked important questions about the challenges we face together and the successes we celebrate, while making critical decisions about our next steps. I know I speak for all of my fellow trustees when I say we are committed to partnering with Dr. Enfield, and we welcome her ideas and insight as we work together on behalf of our 61,000 students and their families. It has truly been a year of new beginnings and new chapters, but our single-minded focus on how we can best meet the needs of our students as they learn and grow has never wavered. One of our most outstanding student leaders joins us tonight. Ivy Batmal is our Student Advisory Council representative to the Board of Trustees. We value her input at our meetings, and she has proven to be an effective and enthusiastic voice for our students. I am proud to introduce Ivy Batmal. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to apologize ahead of time. I'm slightly losing my voice, so if you hear any voice cracks, that's why. So, good evening, everybody. My name is Ivy Batmal, and I'm a senior at Incline High School. I serve as student representative on the Board of Trustees, and I'm also the president of the Student Advisory Council, or what is also known as Student Voice. My time being a student leader in Washoe County School District has been remarkable and an experience I would not change for the world. Working in the council has not only provided me with the opportunity to address the problems I see within my own school, but learn from and work with other students about the challenges they see in their schools as well. It has widened my perspective of what occurs throughout our district, and it allowed me to become an informed leader that effectively represents all 64,000 students. In the coming years, we hope to achieve many things, but our largest goal is to make student voice reach all schools. We want to ensure that councils are established within at least every high school, but hopefully one day in all schools. Additionally, we also dream to have 2 representatives from each school council to be part of the Washoe County School District Student Advisory Council and attend bi-weekly meetings. This way, students can come together to hear about what's going on in other schools and collaborate with each other along with district employees to address common problems seen throughout the schools. I believe that making every student feel like their voices are heard and valued is key to providing a supportive and successful environment in all of our schools overall and in our district. We need to make sure students see the future of the education they are receiving, and by having these conversations, we can see what resources our school district is lacking that these students are looking forward to seeing. For student voice to succeed, we must want student voice to succeed, because it only goes as far as we engage students with it. The more we engage them, the more power they will feel to help make our district a better place for everyone in it. I encourage everyone that works in our district to listen to students, actually hear what they have to say, consider their point of views, incorporate their ideas, and continue to follow up with them on how to further advance our district. Overall, I'm deeply proud to be a part of this district. It has blessed me with an education that goes beyond the classroom and prepared me for any college I may end up attending. Additionally, it is full of some of the most dedicated individuals I think I will ever meet. Individuals that have taught me 2 very important life lessons. Number 1, you must have a lot of patience and hope to work in education. And number 2, no one achieves anything alone. So as we turn this next page in our district's history, I encourage all of you to continue to work together. Continue to have hope and believe in our students' success, because that is how we create an even better and stronger Washoe County School District. Thank you. Up next, it is my honor and absolute privilege to introduce the woman
And so beginning tonight, I will be giving Superintendent Achievement Award pins out when I'm in schools, when I see students who are really excelling. And I am so proud and so honored to give the very first Superintendent Achievement Award to Ivy. Well, welcome everybody. It's so great to have you here. I want to thank Ivy, I want to thank President Smith, all of my trustees, and everyone for being here. And I want to thank Principal Brinkhurst for letting us be in this beautiful space, and to everyone who helped make tonight possible. So I am Susan Enfield. I am your superintendent, and I could not be more excited or honored to be here tonight, giving what I hope will be the first of many State of Education addresses here in the Washoe County School District. Monday will mark 7 months on the job, which has flown by. And in those 7 months, I've had the very good fortune to go around the district and meet families and staff and students and community members through town halls, coffee chats, school visits, one-on-one meetings. And I have to tell you that I have come away feeling like, I have said this before, like I really won the lottery when I got the opportunity to come to the Washoe County School District. This is a community that cares deeply about its schools. It's deeply invested in the success of its students, and for that I am deeply grateful, and it is not something that I ever take for granted. So for all of you for taking the time to be here tonight and be a part of this and a part of this next chapter in our district's history, I thank you. So when I first came to the district, I put together an entry plan. And in that entry plan, I noted 3 priorities that would guide my initial time here in the district as I got to know people and got to understand the unique challenges, unique opportunities, and points of pride that we have here in our district. And so the 3 priorities that I named were, first and foremost, we're a school system, so education. Really getting back to the basics and making sure that our students are receiving the education that will prepare them for whatever future they choose for themselves. The second priority was building trust, making sure that our community, our families, see us as a trusted organization that listens to them, that responds and respects them as partners in this work. And finally, creating a healthy, resilient organization where staff feel seen and supported to succeed. And so these have been the 3 priorities that have guided my initial time here in the district. But in addition to that, when I first kicked off my time at the beginning of the year with all of our staff leadership, I talked about these 4 C's that I wanted to make a part of all of my messages to staff throughout the year. And I do monthly messages to all staff, 1 email, 1 video. And I typically try to touch on one of these 4 C's. So the first one's actually wrong. It says cohesive, it should be coherence. It's okay, it's okay. So the first C is coherence. How are we building a coherent school system so that we really are functioning as a system and not just a collection of schools? Celebration, communication, and care are the other 4 C's. And so some of you may already know that I'm really, really big in celebration. And one of the ways we celebrate our staff here in the Washoe County School District is by giving Ducky Awards. So I know it's a little bit hokey, but it's something that I did in my prior districts, and I've carried it over here, and I've been incredibly gratified to see that staff here have really found it to be something that matters to them. So basically, any staff member in the district can nominate a colleague for a Ducky Award that acknowledges them for going above and beyond for students and for staff. All they have to do is send me a paragraph explaining why this individual is so deserving, and I will go to that school, to that department, to the warehouse, wherever that person is, and present them with a Ducky and read their nomination. Side note, the Duck thing isn't random. Some of you may know my father, who I'm very close with, calls me Duck. I am 54 years old, and if he walked in the door right now, he'd say, "Hi, Duck." So it's a thing, it's very personal, it's a part of who I am. And so this is something that we do pretty much on about several times a month. And so far we've given out over 24. And I'm incredibly excited that I'm going to give my first Ducky Award of the month of February out tonight. See, there's going to be all kinds of surprises in tonight's address. So I would be so honored if I could get Ashley Brown, first grade teacher from Lois Allen Elementary, to come up here. no idea. So she's probably going to give some people a talking to that she wasn't prepared, I'm sure. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Did my coaching here and everything.
Oh.
I didn't know this was happening.
See, you're going to get an earful. Here's your ducky. Here's your pin. But hold on, come over here for a second. So one of the things I also like to do is take a few minutes to read what the nominator said, because I think it's important that you know what your colleagues think of you. So this nomination came from Mrs. Victorian, and this is what it says. This is Ashley's first year of teaching, and she has a challenging group of students this year, but her coworkers say she has already made an overwhelmingly positive difference in their lives. She has taught them coping skills and provided them with a supportive and calm environment in her room. Her colleague wrote, Ashley truly understands her kids. Even with all these challenges, she excels at incorporating hands-on work that motivates all her diverse learners to want to learn. You truly need to be in her presence, as my words do not do justice to the light, love, and energy she brings. Please join me in thanking her. We all know as leaders is that as humans, we all have an innate need to be seen and appreciated. And so congratulations again, Ashley. We're so happy that we were able to honor you tonight. So now, let's get on with the program. So I'm going to start by giving you a snapshot of who we are here in the Washoe County School District. And then I'm going to identify 5 challenges that we're facing, some of the changes that we're implementing in response to those challenges, and then finally opportunities that we all have to help propel our district forward. So let's start with our students. As you can see here, we are an increasingly diverse student body, which is a point of pride for us. And when we talk about our students, this is something I learned a long time ago. I don't think we should reduce our young people to just a label. So we like to use student-first language here. So rather than saying this is an ELL student, we'll say we have roughly 9,000 students who are multilingual. How incredible is that? We have roughly 2,000 students who are experiencing homelessness. We have close to 9,000 students that are receiving special education services. And roughly 34,000 of our students who show up every day rely on us for most, if not all, of their meals. This is a huge, huge responsibility, and what I love about the team that I get to work with every day is that none of the challenges that our students face will our staff allow to become a barrier to their success. So the ultimate measure of success of any district is their graduation rates. Ultimately, that's our goal. We want our students to walk across the stage prepared for whatever future they choose for themselves. And as you see here, we saw a dip post-pandemic, as many districts did. The good news is that this past year, we started inching up again. And that trajectory is going to continue. I can tell you that in the years ahead, our graduation rates will continue to rise as we listen, as we get smarter, and as we do better by our students. But those graduation rates don't just happen magically. It takes a team of dedicated professionals, but it also takes us making sure that we're providing our students with the relevant experiences so that they can see their high school diploma as a ticket to the future they choose. That diploma means something. And a lot of that comes from the fact that we're providing access to more robotics programming across all of our schools at every level, that we're expanding our CTE programs. I hope that some of you got into the CTE room to see the robotics going on. That was amazing. And that we are really looking at what can we do to give our students more of a window into the world of work. So how can we partner with our community, with business and industry, to increase the opportunities that our students have to get out and have internships, to do job shadows. So again, they see that what they're learning in school is taking them somewhere. And so this, I'm incredibly proud of, and this is something we will continue to build on in the months and years ahead. So we have the best students in any district, fact. We also happen to have the best staff. So who are our staff? Well, we have more than 7,100 staff in the Washoe County School District, and over 3,700 of them are teachers. And we have a very talented teaching workforce, my friends. If you look at that, 70% are master's degree, 10% are nationally board certified. And I just have to say, a little shout out, that is the one and only Connie Hall, kindergarten teacher extraordinaire from Diedrichson Elementary, who is the Nevada State Teacher of the Year. But I need to say, Connie represents just all of the people that work in the Washoe County School Districts, from our teachers, like Ashley, who show up every day giving everything they have to make sure that their students learn and thrive, to our custodians, who stand out in the cold, making sure that our buildings look as beautiful as they can, to our central office staff, who show up every day knowing that they exist to put the conditions in place for our schools to be successful so our children can achieve. I would like everyone here who I have the privilege of working alongside in the Washoe County School District to please stand up so that we can thank you. Tonight, after what I know has been a very long day. So, those are our students, that's our staff. Now, let's get into the real meat of the presentation. We have challenges. I think those of you who've had a chance to get to know me so far will know that I've been very upfront about the fact of the challenges that we face. I will be the most vocal cheerleader of this district because that's my job as your superintendent, and I'm incredibly proud of the work that's happening in our schools each and every day. I will also be, though, the most loving critic. And my job is also to partner with our staff to make sure that we're identifying areas where we can do better. We can always do better. We should be in a continuous cycle of improvement. So I'm going to list 5 challenges for you, and then, as I said, talk to you about some of the changes that we're making. And then I'll talk about the opportunities. So the first challenge is staff shortages. We all know this, not unique to Washoe County. Districts on a Zoom today, but we saw our enrollment this year come in even below projection. And our demographer tells us that our enrollment will continue to decline over the next few years. And why is this a challenge? Well, with declining enrollment comes declining revenue, given that that's how we are funded. Inadequate state funding. We've all been talking about this, especially as we are about to launch a new legislative session. We know, sadly, as wonderful a state as Nevada is, we do rank low when it comes to per pupil revenue when we look at other states around the country. And I think many of you have heard me talk about this often and loudly, because I do believe that we need to have this conversation, because this is about making sure that our staff and students get the investment that they need. School safety. There have been a lot of headlines lately here in the Washoe County School District, across the state, and across the nation, of sadly staff or students being hurt in schools. We all know that we have to commit to ensuring that our schools are safe and welcoming places, and this continues to be a challenge for us. It's not a surprise, sadly, to any of us that coming out of the pandemic, we're seeing escalated behaviors in our schools. We need to address that head on. And there's no quick fix to that. There's no simple solution, as I shared with our staff today in a memo. But I believe that collectively, we can and will figure it out. And then finally, the heart of what really matters most, student achievement. We know our students are capable of more than this. We know that. We also know that one test score does not define a child's brilliance and worth. So I'm going to talk in a little bit about what we're doing to acknowledge that we need to increase student achievement, but how do we measure achievement and success in broader ways that aren't limited to one single test score? So, big challenges. And that requires big changes. So over the past several months, I've learned a lot. I'm still learning. And I will partner with our team and with others to start making some changes to the system that I believe will begin to address some of these challenges that we face. So the first one around staff shortages, recruitment and retention. We are really looking at more intentionally recruiting. Our HR team is working so hard. You have an event, they'll show up with a table. I'm telling you, they will be there. And they are constantly recruiting and encouraging folks to come and join this wonderful district. We're also looking at some of our internal practices that I think are getting in the way, or perhaps barriers to people coming and joining our organization. So I am proud to say, and grateful to our team for making this happen, that as of July 1st, anyone employed in the Washoe School District will receive their health benefits on day 1. No more 90-day waiting period, because COVID taught us nothing. It taught us that health matters. And I believe that the things we do as a system, the policies we set, the practices we put into place, send a message to people about how we value them. I want the message that our staff and our soon-to-be staff who are considering coming here, I want the message they get is that we care about you, we value you, and we will take care of you. And that starts with being able to take your 3-year-old to the emergency room with a fever at midnight and knowing that you have health care to do that. So I'm grateful that we will be doing that. We are also going to put an end to one-year-only contracts for teachers so that they'll have some more predictability and if they know something in our system and we want to have that sense of confidence and know that they have a place here next year. And then finally, realigning our resources. I'm having lots of really good conversations with all of our departments around what we can do to use resources differently to better support staff. I was talking with staff tonight about the need, we talk about social and emotional learning for our students. How about our staff? Right? This has been a hard few years for everybody. And so one of the things that we'll be doing in the months ahead is figuring out what are some social and emotional learning supports we can put into motion for our staff. Next, changes. The governor's proposed education budget. Madeline, we're quite excited. So I think there's great reason to be hopeful about what the governor has proposed in the education budget, and his proposed education budget. We're looking at a $1 billion annual increase to K-12 funding, which is incredible. It's incredible that when the budget does pass, that we will be able to address issues around compensation. People have heard me say it, I need to pay my people for the work they're doing, and I need to pay them competitively so that they know that what they do matters and that they are seen and appreciated. And I know our CFO, Mark Mathers, right now is digging into that budget and figuring out exactly what it will mean for us. But we simply have to address compensation and class size if we are going to be the world-class education system that I believe Nevada can be. And finally, while this is reason to be hopeful, another change that we have to keep focused on is how we are meeting the needs of our most vulnerable students. We are concerned about special education funding in the state. Not new, not unique to us, but a real challenge that we have to face. And so these are some of the changes that we're going to be watching when it comes to funding, which is directly tied to early enrollment. Next are safety improvements. So again, I want to acknowledge safety is top of mind for many of you here in the audience, many watching at home, people that I see out in our schools and the community. And I have promised you that we will always face the tough issues and challenges head on. We won't shy away from the hard issues. We won't shy away from the hard conversations. So yes, we have work to do in this area, and we are doing it. We are working hard to fill our school police positions, and I will tell you, we have an amazing Washoe County School Police Department. They are incredible and grateful for what they do. Thank you. We are also beginning to onboard some other technologies and security measures that are going to make a big difference. So first of all, hopefully we'll be able to announce in the coming weeks that we will have a rapid response emergency system in place in all of our schools, so that if something is happening in a classroom, in a school building, that teacher, that staff member will be able to push a button on a badge around their neck. That alert will go immediately to their front office of the school. If it's a more serious issue, it will go directly to Central Office of Law Enforcement. We want our teachers and staff in buildings to know that their safety matters, and we want to equip them. We can't prevent everything from happening, but we certainly can equip them with the ability to get help when they need it. But how about prevention? We know that we need to make more of an investment in mental health supports. We know we have students, we have staff, we have families who are struggling. And we know that it is sometimes difficult for people to access the mental health supports that they need. So I'm also excited that within the next couple of weeks, we will be announcing a partnership with an organization that will allow any staff member, student, family member to log on and identify what their need is and be connected with a local provider who will be able to meet their needs. So taking away the barriers, making it easier to access, giving our counselors and hardworking staff in schools another tool. So when a student or family member comes to them, or a fellow staff member comes to them and says, I need help, we can help you get that help, and we can help you get that help quicker now, thanks to this. And finally, measuring student success. So we talked about student achievement as a challenge. We know our students are brilliant. We know how capable they are. We need to find ways to help them demonstrate that. And one test score isn't going to do it. So we are looking right now, there are two things that I want to talk about. One of the things I heard loud and clear when I first came here was there was a talk about our district assessments. And it felt to some people like we were over-assessing. And so we took a hard look. I asked the team, like, get me some information. What are we really doing? And so we actually are working to eliminate unnecessary district assessments to allow our teachers more time to teach. And while we'll give more specifics about that moving forward, I will say tonight that one of the biggest frustrations I heard among folks was around the district finals exam in algebra. And I'm here tonight to tell you that that is going away. So, and this was the beginning of us taking a hard look. And I think it's important that I share that because I want our staff and our community members to know that we listen. And when you tell us that something is an issue, we're going to look into it. Now, there may not always be something we can do about it, but I'm here to tell you that when we can do something about it, we will. In addition to that, I mentioned that a single end-of-year test score doesn't tell the whole story, right? It's important. Those end-of-year measures, State Superintendent Enfield knows, we all have an obligation to our federal guidelines, our state guidelines. They're there for a reason. However, we create a broader picture of what success looks like for our students. So we are working right now on implementing a system-wide growth measure next year. So we will be able to provide our students with an assessment beginning of year, mid-year, end of year, with supports in between for teachers so that they can help students. So we'll know that a student who comes in perhaps 2 years before grade level maybe makes a year and a half worth of growth by the end of the year. They may not still get to grade level on the Smarter Balance assessment, but a year and a half worth of growth, that's worth celebrating. Similarly, for a student who comes into 5th grade reading at a 7th grade reading level, their families and they should expect that they'll be at least 8th grade reading level at the end of the year. So it's about pushing everyone forward and us getting better at knowing where our students are and giving that data not just to our teachers, but to our students and families so that we know the progress that we're making and we know where we need to improve. And so, I've talked about challenges, I've talked about changes, and there's plenty more to come, but now I want to talk about some opportunities. There we go. Well, we are in the process right now of creating a facility modernization plan with lots of public input, and this will be a 5 to 10 year plan that will help us identify what the capital facilities needs across our district are. Where are schools that may be in need of renovation? What are schools that need to be rebuilt? We've already identified Vaughn Middle School as the top priority school that needs to rebuild, and we're looking at others as well. And I have to tell you, as a superintendent who worked 10 years in a state where to get money to renovate or rebuild a school, I had to pass a school bond at a 60% supermajority. That's a tall order. And I can tell you right now that my first bond campaign I ran in my former district, we got 59.28% of the vote. Yes, I will remember that number as long as I live. And that equates to 212 votes. I will remember that number as long as I live. So when I tell you that I do not take for granted 1 minute of any day that we have WC1, thanks to the generosity of this community, and a community that believes that our staff and students deserve the very best facilities possible, and that since 2016, $1 billion has gone into our school facilities and repairs, I say thank you. And let's keep going. One of the other themes I heard loud and clear when I first arrived was questions around special education and how are we providing services to our most vulnerable students. And so one of the things I realized was that we really didn't have dedicated leadership. And I can tell you that special education is a complex organization. It's a complex endeavor. And it requires someone with the head and the heart to do that work. And so one of the first things I did on the personnel front was to create an associate chief of teaching and learning and specialized instruction. And I'm grateful that Jen Trust stepped up to do that work. And so we're now going to have leadership so that we can talk with our families. We can take a critical eye to our programs and supports and see are there things that we can do differently. We're thinking about bringing in an outside entity to do a program review, not just of special education, but of our English language learning programs, of our gifted and talented programs, and also of our alternative education programs. So this is all incredible opportunity for us to identify what we're really doing well at, and get some ideas for things we might be doing differently. Next, I need to hear, huge opportunity for me to hear from families and staff. So Ivy talked about the Student Advisory Council, which is fabulous, and I get to meet with them throughout the year. And Ivy, we're going to take you up on your ideas to make it even better next year and amplify student voice. So that's one committee and one way I get to engage. But I'm very excited to announce the creation of 3 additional committees. And for those of you who went into the family engagement room, if Delisa was nearby, she would have given you a flyer. We're creating a family action committee. This will be a group of families that represent all of our schools across the district. And I will meet with them periodically throughout the year to hear from them what's working, what's not, but also to have them weigh in on what we're doing. I did this in my previous district, and we would do things like bring up policy provision that we felt was something relevant. Not all policies are relevant to families. Sorry, trustees. I mean, they're all great and important, but to a family, if there was a policy that we felt we really wanted family input on, we bring it and say, what do you think? Make some edits, and let's take that back to the trustees. So I'm excited that we're taking applications for the Family Action Committee now, and it's action because we want them to work. So there will be flyers, I believe, on the way out somewhere if you didn't get one, so I encourage you to apply. We're also creating a Special Needs Family Advisory Committee. And I think it's important, given the challenges that we're facing with our special education services, that we bring together those families to make sure that A, they have a voice in their child's education, but also to make sure that we are implementing our programs in the best way possible. So I'm very, very excited to get these going. And as I said, it's a legislative session, and we are very, what is that? Is it me? I don't know if I'm like doing something, but I keep hearing this thump. I'm sorry for that. I'm very excited that we have partnered with Pinion Associates as our lobbyists to help us have a presence this legislative session. I was down in Carson yesterday, and I'll be down in Carson next week as well. And I have committed to this community that the Washoe County School District will be an important and credible voice in this legislative session. We want to be a partner that our legislators can look to for guidance, for insight on things that they are doing. But I can tell you right now, I will be a fierce advocate for what our staff and our students need and deserve. And I have a voice, and I'm not afraid to use it. So we will be a presence this legislative session because I think we have tremendous opportunity like we haven't had in recent history, and it's exciting. And finally, how lucky are we to have outstanding higher education partners here in this region? As you know, we're joined tonight by President Hilverson and President Sandoval, both of whom are tremendous friends and partners to the Washoe County School District. We've had a long-standing dual enrollment program with TMCC, which we are so proud of and grateful for. And we are incredibly excited that we have just announced, if any of you saw the op-ed that President Sandoval and I had published last week, a dual enrollment partnership with the University of Nevada, Reno, that builds on the success they've had with that model down in the Clark County School District. So I'm telling you, it's happening in Clark County, it's happening in Washoe, and it's going to happen better. So that's a challenge that I've gotten into the north-south divide situation. So I've warned my friend and colleague, Superintendent Jara, that Washoe County is going to be the new Clark County. So look out, okay? We're going to be the ones people look to. But I'm grateful to our higher education partners because the reality is that our students need to see a future for themselves. And we want them to see a future that has all options available to them. Our job here in the Washoe County School District is not to ensure that every student graduates and goes to college. We're not graduating every student college bound, we're graduating every student college ready. They determine what they want to do with that. But we want to make sure that they know what higher education opportunities are available to them and that they see that as something they can do. And this partnership is going to make that more of a reality for more of our students than ever before. And so thank you very, very much to both of you for that work. And we're getting to the end. We're almost there, but I'm going to put you to work before we go. So I think you've heard, and some of you may even be on some of the committees for our strategic plan. So in just a couple weeks, we will launch what will be a months-long endeavor with tons of community engagement and conversation to develop a plan with bold goals that are worthy of our children. It will be a plan that lays out what our sort of guideposts will be for the next 3 to 5 years. It will establish what it is that is most important to us as a community for our children. It will be based in values, and it will be anchored in the promise to know every student by name, strength, and need, so they graduate prepared for the future they choose. That will be what we are known for in this district in delivering on. And I am so incredibly grateful to those of you who have agreed to already participate in that. And I encourage all of you to take part in the many opportunities that you'll have in the months ahead to be a part of shaping this plan. Because it's not my plan. It's really not even just the district's plan. It's the community's plan for its children. Because it's going to take all of us working together. So, I'd like you all to take out your phones. This is the interactive portion of the evening. And I'd like you to get your camera and scan the QR code that's on there. We are partnering with an organization called Thought Exchange, which is a wonderful tool that allows us not only to hear what you individually think, but you then get to star what other people are thinking. So now all of a sudden we have a sense of what the real trends are in our community. It's not that one person thinks it's important, it's many. So if you click on that QR code, it'll take you to a link. Click on the link, and that will take you to a place where you can type in your answer to this question. What do you believe are the most important skills and experiences our students need to prepare them for success in learning and life? And so I encourage you to take a minute. I'm going to use these. So I encourage you to take a minute to type in what your answer is. But then take another minute or two to scroll through and see what other people are saying. And if there's something that you agree with or that you think is important, star it. Because what we're going to do then is take the top 3 to 5 comments that got the most stars and share those with our strategic planning committee. So you all are actually the official pre-launch to our strategic planning process. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that right now. But this is one of the many ways that we're finding new and better opportunities to engage in two-way communication with our families, our staff, and our community. And we'll be doing thought exchanges on all kinds of topics in the months ahead. So I wanted to give you a chance tonight. Just ignore me while I'm talking as you all do your thing. But to give you a chance tonight to experience what this tool is like. It's fairly user-friendly. But we are excited that it will give us a better way to know what really is on the minds of people out in our community. So I'll just give you a moment because I see something.
You can't get in on the Wi-Fi. What's the password?
Really?
It's K-12 guest.
What? K-12 guest. And I'm hoping we can get one. Some of the schools it's hard to get Wi-Fi too. I hope we can get it. Thank you. So it doesn't have to be a long thought. Just list a few of the skills and experiences you want our students to have. And then once you've done yours, go through and look at what some other people have said. And star ones that you think are also ones that you would like to see us consider. I think all the teachers in the audience are really envious of how on task everybody is without extra prompting. This is pretty impressive. So you can go ahead and keep typing, you can keep starring, and I'll bring this to a close because I want to be mindful that we're already over time and you need to get home and get on with your evening. I just want to end with this. You will see that I repeat things a lot. I remember once a principal said to me, Susan, we know what you're going to say before you start. And at first I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I thought, no, that is good. That is good. You should know what your leader is going to say. You should know what our priorities are. You should know what I stand for and what matters. And so you will hear me say again and again and again, louder each time, we are WCSD and we are a district on the rise. And that is a fact. And I feel so incredibly honored to be a part of this community, a community that has welcomed me so warmly, so incredibly warmly. a community that now feels like home after 7 short months, a community that, frankly, I can't picture living, leading, and serving anywhere else. You're stuck with me. So with that, I encourage you to contact me. Those of you who have reached out to me, you know that I will respond. Please, if there's something that's on your mind, a concern, a question, an idea, reach out. I will always schedule time to meet with staff and community. Full disclosure, the list is long right now for meetings. It's going to take us a minute, okay? So just be a little bit patient. I won't be this popular much longer. So it's going to be a lot easier to get a meeting with me in another couple of months. But right now it's a little bit tough, so just be patient. We will make sure that we get to you. But I really do encourage you to reach out to me directly. And as I bring this to a close, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for caring so deeply about our children. And let's end with the reason why we're all here tonight, with the reason why public education matters now more than ever, and that's our students. And every one of our students is brilliant and brimming with promise. Our job as the adults in the community is to just help them unleash it. Thank you, everybody.